GM, GM. So, trade of the day, I'll check in on some of my alts. AKT holding up super nice. This thing is just not wanting to top yet. Makes sense though, because Nvidia is just flying, and AI, stocks are going to keep ripping, and Akash is just saying, well, I don't give a shit who's panic selling Bitcoin. I want to go higher. So, um, with that reversal, this will be one of those interesting moments because we've had these reversals here and here, and they've been very reliable so far for price going to new highs. At the very least, pushing back up towards the highs. Is it going to be the same? You can sort of see. We'll see how much true demand there is at these levels for AKT over the next week or two, because the reversal was really nice. It was a lot of people will panic. It pushed below the lows. It had pushed down twice into a retest of the breakout. So a lot of panic here. But just like over here, the panic was caused by people dumping Bitcoin. Doesn't matter the strong alts. It's used as a buying opportunity. So, but then the reversal and the rally. My question is that going to continue, or was the rally kind of catalyzed by Bitcoin and then AKT pushed because it was the Nvidia narrative and people just started longing it and pushing it? It'd be interesting to see. I think on the lower time frames, it's left a gap behind. You want to see it sort of, will it consolidate in this area here and push up, or is it going to pull back? You've got a few different ways it can go. It can go like this, where really it just starts to push again soon if it's going to make new highs. But AKT's price action, it's quite, sometimes it can be quite easy to read in terms of you have a initial strong rally off the lows, a bit like this, right? Initial strong rally off the lows, then it bleeds down, makes a new low, and goes higher. But I think we've already had that one. And I think as long as it keeps holding the daily bands, I mean, it's held this daily trend all the way, so I see no reason to fade that. If it keeps holding the daily trend, then we're all good. Weekend though, I don't know. Is there going to be a whole lot of? Is there going to be a lot of demand Saturday, Sunday? Maybe it loses out by having a weekend, or the weekend could be good. A lot of times these alts do better on the weekend because there's none of the whole overhang about Bitcoin being sold and all that shit. So we'll see. We'll see. Multi-bit, I'm still holding. I haven't touched. Um, doesn't look great to be honest. Waiting for a bounce. Just mostly waiting for a reaction because a lot of the sell-off we saw over the past couple of days was just panic driven. So I'm waiting to see, do we see a reaction bounce higher? Because it is a low, a high, and a higher low. And if there is a Binance listing coming and the BRC20 narrative is still going to go, then it should be all right. I don't know. I'm not overly bullish on that narrative right now. It seems to have gone a bit dead, but oftentimes these things go dead right before they get moving. So, main thing is I'm just in no rush to sell. I'll just wait and see. But I'll probably sell it, early next week if there's no movement in it. Unibot, same thing. Unibot, haven't touched it, holding up quite nicely. Um, it sort of pushed up and was breaking out of its, like, I mean, the bottoming range is really around here, depending on which exchange you're looking on. But moving up quite nicely, pushing out, back down, pushing up again. Nice reaction off the retest. And for me, is still showing some decently strong demand. The couple of days of selling were purely driven by Bitcoin and the fear in the market. So a lot of times on these volatile small cap alts, those type of panic selling days get absorbed and help the market to push higher. Like if there's going to be, altcoins pumping and altcoin season or whatever, Unibot's not going to care about Bitcoin. And so we'll see. Well above my entry, got in at 80. It's up now at 89. Been as high as 110. If it keeps consolidating in this area, pushes higher, everything's good. We'll see. We'll see. Pretty clear for me, like losing this level, losing the daily bands, pushing back down, that's a no-go for me. But if I was looking at this chart pattern, 9 times out of 10, I would say that's a bottoming pattern. If you just wait, this is actually bottoming out. It's starting to make high, low. You can even see here, low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Right, so it's nicely starting to grind up. It's a bit of like a Livermore accumulation before it goes for a bigger move. And yeah, so overall, I'm much happier with Unibot than I am with Multibit. And overall, with all the alts, I see big reaction bounces coming on a lot of them. You have to remember what happens to people when they panic and sell. When they panic and sell, they're out. And the market often punishes them by having a big bounce. And it's not so much about Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin, like I said, can be stuck down in this area for a while. Nice daily candle though. But Bitcoin can be stuck down here and not go higher than 43 and not go lower than 40, right? BTC can just chop around in there. But in that little bounce, if Bitcoin pushes again towards 43, you're just going to see pick whatever altcoin. Pick any random altcoin, right? And you're just going to see how people have panic sold it at the lows. And you just see like a strong reaction coming off it. I don't know, Render. Right? Render's already reacted. But you can see here, like, with all this noise and nonsense going on with Bitcoin, people just dumping the Render. Maybe Render's not the best example because it looks like shit anyway. But even that is a good example, right? Render looks like shit, but it's above the 50, and the daily bands are almost going green again. Like with all the bearishness we've had since the ETF, why is Render not nuking lower? Why is it not already lower? Why isn't it at $3? Maybe because it's not going to fucking go there in this phase, right? Maybe Render just has to reaccumulate like this. Pushes up, punishes people, comes back down to support, up again, and then away it goes. Where they all panic and sell because of bad Bitcoin, oh no, then it pops up, they FOMO back in, flushes them out, they panic again, pushes up. And it's just part of the process of reaccumulation before a bigger run. That's like the bull scenario. The bear scenario is same for all alts. We just have a slow kind of sell off over a few months, back down into some of these gaps before we just go vertical. And if you see that, you'll probably see that like with a lot of alts, if they do have these stair step down over the next couple of months, you'll see them stair step into lower volatility, and then they'll just go vertical. Once they break that, you'll see just really strong squeezes that leaves everyone behind. That's something I'm watching for. So that's it. Trade of the day. Just check in on a few positions. GM.